Hey yo, what's up everybody? It's Zane JJ. I'm coming back with a video basically talking about my life, and of course in this past 4 months itself, I have not been making any content, and I want to basically update you guys that I have not given up on YouTube. Basically just took a break, and after that from there spend time with my family, and of course stumbled onto this new like full-time job, I would say a cash flow job instead, and of course making like my own money, and of course using my own target, and of course working as your own boss, basically like a self-employed. And the recap itself, I would say that on the video that I have done prior this year itself, talking about what I'm going to do on my channel, and of course the channel updates itself to financial freedom 2023. And yeah, basically I've mentioned in that video itself talking about I'm gonna find like doing like a ride hailing app job. So you guys might be thinking that, okay, so how is it going on that itself? And of course, if let's say you might be thinking about career change, or maybe you want to look for additional cash flow slash doing this for a part-time. And of course, I would say that this job itself is pretty good in cash flowing. And after that, I would say it definitely can give you additional bonus, and of course additional money upon that maybe your job can't get a pay raise or something like that, you need something additional. So on the next segment itself is talking about, can you really make $1,000 on Grab? So over here, you might be scrolling on Facebook or maybe on Instagram, and you somehow came across this app itself, this ad from Grab itself telling you that start driving with Grab just within 3 hours, and after that, from there you can earn up to $2,000 per week. Driving full time, of course, it's not part time. If you can do like $2,000 per week on part time itself, you are a fucking legend. I mean, you do not need to sleep. So over here is talking about $8,000 per month itself, and I would say that is this achievable? Based on my own experience within these 4 months of doing this ride-hailing app itself, I would say yes, definitely it's achievable, but there is some pros and cons to it. But of course, we are gonna basically talk about in this segment itself. Do you like, number one, do you want to rent the car, own the car, or number two, the next part itself is which is the best ride-hailing app itself? Then I'm gonna share with you my personal result spreadsheet, and of course the data that I've collected on this job itself. And after that, from there you can basically do the last segment talking about some thoughts that I want to share with you guys before you guys jump into this wagon or purchase your new car or start renting a car. So now we are going to basically talk about, should you rent or own your own car itself? There's tons of company out there offering you like a lease to own type of concept. Like on Grab itself, they have this lease to own type of concept, the car ownership scheme. And of course, you can, if let's say you do not wish to own the car because of maintenance and stuff like this, but instead you just want to do rental services. So over here on Grab itself, they also offer you rental. But of course, I'm just using Grab as an example because they are the OG and they are the biggest over here. And of course, all the resources is on Grab itself. So I'm just using them as a reference. Of course, outside, if you are looking like on your Facebook, you might see some ads from Loomers, and after that from like other like Lilo or other kind of rental company itself. So for my own personal opinion itself, I would say that owning the car itself would be much more better. But I mean, there is a lot of argument towards this segment that, oh, you own the car, you need to pay like your own road tax, you need to pay your own insurance, you need to pay like all those unnecessary stuff that the car rental company can basically do it for you. And of course, I would say this is just uh, a very simple concept itself. If let's say you want convenience itself, definitely you will pay more. And of course, if let's say you don't mind going through the hassle of doing all those like legal stuff your own for your own car itself, definitely you're gonna save some money onto that. So I'm just gonna explain to you. Just imagine if let's say you are gonna buy a car itself, or let's say you want to rent a car. If let's say you're the company, you purchase this car itself at this amount at the market rate that everybody is paying for those personal people that want to own their car, they are basically buying it. And of course, if let's say you buy it itself, it's definitely going to be cheaper. It's like you're buying it from wholesale. Then after that, if let's say you want to do like your car rental services, you know that, oh, this person is lazy, I'm gonna basically charge them additional $200 $300 per month on rental services itself. So this is the concept over here. So there's a lot of argument towards this segment, but I'm not going to talk about that because it's going to make the video very, very long. So I'm just going to keep it short, and of course talk about the next segment itself, which is the best ride hailing platform out there in Singapore. Right, so on this segment itself, currently in Singapore itself, we have Grab, Ride, Tada, Gojek, and Zik basically ComfortDelGro, and of course there might be some more coming out. I do not know. But over here for the consumer itself, on this welcome post itself, they done this for basically consumer. So for my own personal experience itself, I basically have signed up for Grab, Ride, Tada, Gojek, but I did not sign up for ComfortDelGro, Zik. So I'm gonna explain to you which one is the best itself. So number one, we're gonna talk about the commission that the platform are taking. Basically, for Grab itself, they are taking 20% on whatever you're earning. And of course, on top of that, you need to pay a 7% GST or 8% GST on the services that they provided. as a driver itself. Then after that, on ride itself, you also need to pay a little bit of commission. If I'm not wrong, it's like 15% or 18%, can't really remember. But of course, withdrawing your funds itself, you need to pay a little fee. For Tada itself, they are basically showing you, telling you that they charge 0% commission, but they charge a flat rate of like 70 cent or 80 cent for the driver or consumer, and for Gojek itself is 15%. So after babbling all of this itself, I would say personally, I have tested on Grab, Tada, and Gojek. On ride itself, not really much because the user interface itself is not really as simple as it seems. So for Grab, Tada, and Gojek itself, I would say that comparing on these three itself, based on my 4 months experience, I would say Gojek itself is somehow the best platform. But of course, I'm going to show you my personal results, and after that, let you see the statistic why I say that Gojek is somehow better compared to Grab or Tada. And of course, without further ado, let's jump into the real facts that people are waiting for, basically telling you that am I able to make like 8,000 or even $10,000 a month? Alright, so my personal result itself, I started on April 17, basically doing this ride hailing app itself. So we can just not look at the April statistic itself. So these are basically the statistics that I've done, talking about my petrol cost, my car cost, then after that my net earnings. But of course, this net earnings itself has not deducted by MediSave for CPF, because as a self-employed person, you have to top up your own MediSave itself, 8% of whatever you have earned. So over here, I'm just going to show you the amount itself. So you say that where's the $8,000 that we are talking about? Because net earnings itself, I already deducted all my car rental and petrol. So around this May itself, I'm just going to scroll down to you on May, telling you that this over here is the total amount. So for total on May itself, I have made basically $8,800. And after that, how much time that I work is basically 243 hours clock in, and after that per hour rate itself basis is 36 per hour, and after that from there the total trips that I've done, then after that the average dollar per trip itself, and after that the kilometers traveled during this whole month itself. Then the main question is how much am I making per kilometer? So it's around $1.2. So over here on this personal result itself, I'm gonna basically do a zoom out. So if let's say you can't really see, I'm gonna try my best to show you the whole spreadsheet itself. Alright, so over here, I'm just gonna basically zoom out. Hopefully, you can see this. So over here for April itself, we are just gonna ignore this, and then after that, we're gonna look at May itself. So for May itself, I have done like starting out, I done Tada, because Tada is the most easiest platform for me to basically sign up, get on board, and after that get started working. Compared to like Gojek and Grab. Gojek and Grab, they tell you that you can sign up online, then after that within like a few hours you can get your account activated and stuff like this. But at the end of the day, you still have to go down. So I would say going down to the places is basically the fastest way to get on board. So for Tada itself, it was quite simple and fast, because I just signed up. Then after that, I just emailed them telling them that, hey, why isn't my account activated? And they activated my account within like I think 3 or 4 hours. Then after that, I would say for per hour itself for Tada, I made like basically $27, 25 and 23, because I'm still a newbie. So I'm not gonna basically use this result as like I'm an OG talking about making. I would say that the basic pay that people are looking at is basically $30 per hour on this ride hailing app platform. This is the standard, and of course this is the benchmark that people are aiming for, 30 per hour. And of course some bad day you can earn like $23 or stocks, some stuff like this. So I'm just gonna look at the next month itself that I've done basically on May itself. So May itself, I've done like quite insane amount of hours that I've said. Basically, if let's say you are working at a 8 to 5 job, maybe you are working only 8 hours. So over here you can see the 8 hours times 22 days itself. People are only working at 176 hours per month. And after that, I've clocked in like almost like many OTs, many days of OT, basically 243 hours. So you're gonna do by 243.5 divided by 30 days, for example. So at least one day, one whole month itself, I'm working at around 8 hours per day for this one whole month for 31 days. Yeah, I'm just gonna put it 30 days. So basically, I'm working every day, and after that, I will say that with this result itself, the amount that you see is $8,800 plus the commission rebate from Gojek, because Gojek itself, they rebate you on your commission, which is better than Grab. That's why I say that Gojek is better, because at the end of the month, I still can get this amount back. And of course, this amount that I receive at the end of the month, I'm gonna use it to top up my MediSave, because yeah, I mean you are working for every day, and of course, to be honest, to be financially savvy doing this kind of job, and after that, I would say it's kind of hard, because every day you're gonna withdraw funds, you're gonna basically spend it on your fuel, and after that, from there, your rental and stuff like this. Some people do it on a daily basis, and after that, I would say that this end of month kick-in bonus itself is basically very good, because you don't need to worry about your MediSave. Because why I encourage people to basically do a monthly top up on your CPF MediSave itself is because if let's say one whole 12 12 months itself you have not done any top up, at the end of the month itself you will see that suddenly you will have a very huge bill, like talking about $2,000 to $3,000 that you need to basically pump into your Medisave. And of course by then, if let's say you're not someone that save very well and of course segregate your funds because you do not have enough bank account or stuff like this, basically you're not financially savvy, you are basically going to meet into troubles on basically topping up your Medisave. Because if let's say you have a PDVL, you will need to, if you need to renew your account itself, renew the license, you need to basically submit your funds towards the CPF Medisave itself, so they allow you to basically do a renewal. So this is why I would say top up your Medisave. If let's say you're a self-employed employee, just whatever you are earning, deduct it by your expenses and stuff like this, then you top up your Medisave accordingly. And of course, this is the best way to do so. So after that, after May itself, this is the highest earning month. And then after that, on like maybe June, I basically clocked around $4,000 because I've already worked so hard for that month itself. And after that, I was thinking about my life working for that one whole month, talking like basically I'm using so much hours. And after that, I find that life is meaningless because you are working too many hours. And after that, you are neglecting like your important things, like your loved ones and stuff like this. Because you know that I have a family. And after that, from there, really wish to spend time with family. Therefore, let go some hours, spend time, 35 hours, work on that month itself for June, and you're basically making like $4,000. And of course, with this $4,000 itself, you're not really earning a lot because you have not deducted the petrol and car cost. So technically, I earn my net income itself is basically $1,900. Deduction of CPF, it was around 1.7K. So for the month itself, I was like, if I do this, I'm gonna eat shit every month, so do not have enough money, stuff like this. So for July itself, I basically managed to clock a little bit more, around $7,000. And after that, I would say working at 196 hours, it is somehow still reasonable, I would say, having some sort of work life balance, maybe work 60 or 70%, and your life balance is like 30 to 40%, depending on how you view it. And of course, at the end of the day itself, I'm clocking like around 36 per hour. And of course, we can see that on June itself is 31 hour. So the earnings that you do itself is basically really varies depending on, over here you can see by the per hour itself, we are looking at like the highest we can see is 37, sometimes 38, and after that 40 itself was the highest for that month. And of course, if you look at the lowest itself, you can like chong for the one whole day, but you're just making like 28 per hour or 29. So this is the variance that you can see on this ride hailing app itself. For the month of currently July itself is still ongoing, so I'm still working. So I'm just gonna do my own recordings. So what I've done, this spreadsheet itself is very good, basically talking about the hours that I've worked, then after that, on average, how much per hour am I making, then after that, total trips, and now average per trip, the kilometer traveled, and after that, the KM basically making how much per money. For per KM itself, for my case itself, I'm looking at a benchmark of $1 per kilometer. That's the best benchmark. And of course, for hourly itself, I'm looking for around 30 per hour to make my time more worth it. And of course, from there, there's some other tips and tricks to basically do as a ride hailing app user itself, driver. Then after that, I would say now we are going to talk about some of the thoughts before you rush into this ride hailing app itself. So I would say number one itself, if let's say you are looking to own a car itself because you really need a car, you have a family, big family, for example, you need to travel around every weekend to visit your mother-in-law place or stuff like this, and of course you will definitely needing a car for your travels. Or let's say you have a job that is far away and you are thinking to own a car. So I would say renting a car itself is not really a viable option because renting itself, you are paying more. But of course, owning the car itself, you can just need to basically do some hassle of like maintenance, stuff like this. You need to do it yourself. But of course, doing it yourself, you can save some costs, already mentioned. So over here, if let's say you really need a car, and after that, from there, you would wish to buy a car, but COE itself is too expensive in Singapore. So you can basically do this type of ride hailing app platform as a side hustle, side gig. But of course, note, if let's say you are 30 and above, you can do this job. But if let's say you are less than 30 years old, you have to wait, because for my case, I'm just 25. But of course, luckily, I signed up on the platform itself before they increase the benchmark of the age itself. So I'm lucky that I've gotten this, and of course can use this ride hailing app platform to itself to basically generate me cash flow instead of me taking out my crypto like earnings that I've made from referrals, affiliate, and after that, from there, just letting all of my money that I've earned slash accumulated on the crypto side itself to basically compound, and of course hold it there as an investment instead of spending them. So yeah, went out and after that use my hours to exchange for money. And after that, I would say that the thoughts itself, if let's say you're looking to earn like 7,000 or even $8,000 per month itself full time, number one itself, I'm just gonna say that you're gonna neglect somehow your health. Then after that, the next thing you're gonna neglect is your family and your loved ones. And lastly itself, what you're gonna neglect is basically your own well-being. Basically, you are not mentally itself, if you're gonna work this for long hours itself, you are basically gonna go crazy because you're just doing a job that is like from point A, point B, point A, point B. Then after that, eventually you will think about your own life that is this gonna be like whatever you want to do for like the rest of your life. But of course, for my case, it's not. I'm just doing this for cash flow, and after that, from there, using the money to basically do some investment in the future, and of course, to support my family instead of using my crypto. So if you want to rush in itself, I would say that there's only two possible answers. If let's say you really need car, and after that you want to use something to cover the car, this is the option for you. If let's say you are doing like your full-time job is not paying enough, then you will need to have some additional money because let's say you got into some bad debts or like you just fell into a financial hole. Definitely this itself can do as like a part-time job slash you can basically generate additional income for your own well-being. But of course, I would say doing a full-time itself, definitely you can consider it. But of course, yeah, the more you work, the more you earn. The lesser you work, the lesser you earn. So this is just the concept over here. And of course, the benchmark itself, you are just making $30 per hour benchmark minimally. And after that, I would say I've come to the end of the video. And yeah, basically my next content itself, I'm not gonna talk about this ride hailing app anytime soon. Instead, I'm gonna talk about more about crypto content, which this channel is for, basically passive income, and of course looking for ways to generate money online instead of working like this using your hours for money. Instead, we're gonna find ways to basically generate income online and of course doing minimal work. So I'm gonna see you on the next one. Bye bye. Peace.